platforms. And so we have a separate live stream of that conversation, this open session discussing, of course, AI. And so let's continue our show here, folks. There was a lawsuit that was filed against P. Diddy. Now Jay-Z has been added to that by Houston attorney Tony Buzbee, alleging a sexual assault with a 13-year-old in the year 2000. Now Jay-Z, of course, is firing back at that attorney, saying that he is trying to be extorted. He released a statement that was, straightforward and hardcore. He said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Buzbee, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these type of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, will be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." That right there, quite a strong statement, Cameron, from Jay-Z. Again, the initial lawsuit was filed against Diddy. Jay-Z was added to it. He filed a claim against Buzbee, and now has gone public. On Congo, this was a statement that Jay-Z wrote on his iPhone. It did not come through his lawyer, and this came directly from him. And he makes it clear, not one red penny. You don't know who I am. Talk about strict code. This is going to be a fierce legal battle between Tony Buzbee and Jay-Z and his lawyers.
Look, Roland, I have a doctorate on Jay-Z. I've been teaching a class on Jay-Z for about 5 years now at American University. There's a lot I've learned about this brother. And as Cameron was saying, this type of story is not something that really represents a lot of things that have been said about Jay-Z over the years. Now, people did talk about like Jay-Z and Foxy Brown, and she was younger. People threw out that. And he is somebody, through the foundation, through a lot of the community works, has definitely been seen as somebody who is a protector of children, somebody who values children. So this investigation needs to go out fully. One of the challenges I see out there is that people are already playing the guilty by association game, because Jay-Z is somebody who's been involved in projects with R. Kelly and Diddy, as well as Harvey Weinstein, but so many other people in the industry have. So people are throwing out this like attracts like, and I think that's not fair. We need a full investigation, and all of us in here on this show tonight want to be protectors of Black kids and Black girls and just in general. And so nobody's here is giving this man a pass. A full investigation needs to be done. But I will say, after studying him for so long, the fact that he would issue this statement personally himself, this means that this is something that he holds very dear, because oftentimes he has spoken through his lawyers, even as recently, remember with Piers Morgan and Jaguar Wright, just like last month or a month or two ago, had the lawyers respond. And so I think that this is something he's going to fight tooth and nail, and all the facts need to come out. And it's very unfortunate if there's any type of truth, and if there's not truth, it's also unfortunate that someone's name will be dragged through the mud for something that they didn't do. But like Cameron was saying, this is something that's not been a history with Jay-Z that a lot of people have talked about in the industry, though they've talked a lot about some of these other guys, including Diddy, before these charges came against him. But this is something, if we don't pay attention to it and cover it the way that only we can at the Black Star Network, we know that people are just going to run away with it. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. And like you're saying, Nola, it's always important that we respect the victims and the people who are the accusers. And like you said, we have to make sure that all of the facts come out. So we're definitely going to be paying attention to this.
Congo, money, lots of money. We saw what happened to Diddy when the Cassie lawsuit was filed. It impacts financially. And you're right, there are all sorts of business deals, things along those lines that are involved here. As I said, typically when you have a celebrity who is accused, you sort of have a different, again, you typically don't want it to be in the headlines. Here was Jay-Z going public. A lawsuit was filed. And remember, Buzbee said, very prominent entertainer, Jay-Z was not named. Later, he was named, and the naming of Jay-Z apparently came after Jay-Z's attorneys filed a suit against Buzbee. And so this is going to be a very contentious public legal battle.
Yeah, and it's really important that Jay-Z and his team stay in front of this, because I'm going to throw out another celebrity that we can talk about is Johnathan Majors. And look what happened with his career as well. And it's on a rebound, as some say, but he's already, lost a lot. And like Nola was saying, with this thing with the NFL, similar with like a Johnathan Majors, once certain deals are gone, especially for people in our community to get to these spaces, they're not coming back. Just like Johnathan Majors not going to be playing Kang in Avengers. Like, if Jay-Z loses like the partnership with the NFL or some of these other places, I can't see them coming back. Nor could I see Jay-Z even wanting to mess with them if he's completely cleared of everything. And so in our community, when endorsement deals like this or connections like this happen with accusations like this and they get lost, there can be real damaging consequences. I think that's another reason why Jay-Z is getting ahead of this, because you can't let a certain narrative continue to play its way in the media, on television, and so on and so forth, without giving any type of fire in return. And there's also people out there, Nola, who are saying that the other person who was present was Beyonce, because they're saying that there was a woman present when this happened. And so again, this is an innocent until proven guilty. People need to fight this with everything that they have. And again, we need to find out what's happening with this victim. She was 13 years old at the time. Clearly, she's talking about something that happened with somebody that involved rape. So we absolutely have to be making sure that this person is being protected as well, making sure that there's not manipulation going on. I've heard a lot of negative things about Buzbee, but a lot of people talk about he has a great career representing people like Warren Buffett and all of this other type of stuff. But we just have to make sure in our community that we're doing our due diligence, because if anybody's guilty of this stuff, they're not going to keep our support or protection, or at least not the protection of those and support of those of us here. We know some people in our community who still mess with R. Kelly, got no problems with, his music and so on and so forth. But we got to do better than that. We got to support victims. We got to listen to them. But we also have to make sure that people are not being unnecessarily maligned, because that also happens too much in this industry and in all types of industry, famous or non-famous.
You look at that statement, Cameron, he uses the word extortion. That's not a word thrown around lightly. And that's what really stood out to me in reading this statement that was, again, typed on his iPhone. He is directly calling out the victim's attorney by saying, this man is trying to extort me and I ain't gonna do it. He says he ain't getting one red penny. You don't hear folk respond that way, and it doesn't matter if people are running left and right, and I'm seeing social media and folks are like, he's guilty, things along those lines. This is somebody who has resources, who could settle, but who makes it clear ain't settling. And I still would love to understand from Buzbee by saying the victim isn't seeking money, we wanted private mediation. For what purpose? So it's going to be, again, really interesting to see what happens here. And I doubt very seriously the partners of Jay-Z are going to abandon him. But this is also something that we have to understand, that yes, there are alleged victims, but when you say that someone is an alleged rapist, that now doesn't go away. Even if you settle, even if you're found not guilty. And so it's not even a question of they have to prove it. Really, you have to actually prove it yourself. That's why this is so contentious and why his response was so surprising.